This tweet is from Gregg Rosenthal, NFL.com. Browns roster is loaded, and it's year 4 for Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. Just a massive season for the whole organization. Tim, we touched on it a little bit. There are expectations. If you don't win, there are always consequences in the NFL. I don't want to say, this guy's on the hot seat or this guy's on the hot seat. Browns expect to be a playoff team this year, and they should based on this roster. When you look at this roster, what are your thoughts?
They should be in the playoffs. They should be in the playoffs. And if Deshaun Watson is, what everybody expected him to be, what he was in Houston as a Pro Bowl quarterback, this is a team that really should be, kind of one of the dark horses, I guess you could say, for the AFC, at least on paper. Now, this is a no excuses season for Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. 2021, we could talk about, Baker Mayfield having the shoulder injury, not being himself, and then regressing as much as he did throughout the season. In 2022, you have Deshaun Watson suspended for 11 games, and that really sank the season before it really began. This year, unless, you have a significant injury to Deshaun Watson or Myles Garrett, there's no excuses for this team. They got to go perform. This staff has already won a playoff game, so no reason to think they shouldn't be able to do it again. I know it's a tough division. I know it's a tough AFC, but on paper, the Browns should be right up there with these teams. It's just a matter of going out, performing, getting it done, especially after fixing so many of the issues this team had. Depth and talent at receiver, the defensive line, just not being good enough at stopping the run, the defensive scheme being an issue, special teams errors. Those things seem like they've all been fixed, at least on paper. Now it's got to be time when you go out on the field in September. I know it's a tough start to the schedule, tough start to the season, but it's time to start getting some wins. It's time to start showing how good this team that they've built really is.
The other thing is, think about it in terms of this. So last year, there was the uncertainty with Deshaun Watson. You didn't know suspension, when he's going to be available. When they found out it was 11 games, there were moves that they could make, and they didn't. And they probably didn't because they realized 11 weeks with a backup quarterback, it's going to be an uphill battle to make the playoffs. This year, they expect to be a playoff team. Every move they make says, we expect to be a playoff team.
Yeah, this is Andrew Berry loading up as much as everyone feels like he can load up, making all these moves. It just comes down to the players on the field performing the way that they're capable of playing. Deshaun Watson looking like I said, the Pro Bowl quarterback that he was before the off-field stuff happened, before the off-field stuff came to light. If he does that, then there's no reason to assume the Browns can't be among those top teams in the AFC. It's a tough conference, and football is a weird game where any team can win on any given day. So as long as you're in that top tier, you're up there with those great teams, you have a shot. And I think that's all any team needs at this day and age is just that one shot.